Welcome back, everybody, to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Madden 20 franchise rebuild series. I've been looking forward to this offseason since the last year ended. I am very fascinated by what could happen this offseason depending on what opportunities we are given. I think that we are in the market for a major receiver upgrade if we can make it happen. But at the same time, tough decisions here in free agency will give us a first step towards what this team is going to look like in the coming season. Now, last year, we got knocked out of the postseason in the first round, and my whole feeling coming out of this year is that the offseason is just a little too inconsistent. I know we have the first ranked offense in terms of yardage, but we had a very inconsistent scoring offense, and we were far from the number one scoring team in the league. No problem putting up yards, but a lot of issues, it seems, putting points consistently on the board. We had a very good defense. We've developed that into maybe the strength of this team right now. I mean, we have 5 X-Factor players on defense, so that is definitely not a stretch to say that we are a defensive team more so these days. But we have to get this offense a lot better. I think they were just a little underwhelming. By the way, it was pointed out that Robert Cush made the Pro Bowl this season, so I need to see exactly how he did that. 10 sacks. Had to scroll here a little bit to find it, but it looks like Cush had an overall good season with Jacksonville. Hopefully they're on our schedule next year. Bounce back in the major statistical categories, a jump in pretty much all of them. So Cush is a solid player. We just really couldn't make it fit this last year, and knowing I wanted a big investment in Devoe and Seymour kind of meant I wasn't going to keep a bunch of high paid defensive linemen, much like how the 49ers see where their defensive line is in real life, and they traded away DeForest Buckner for a first round pick. This is our equivalent to that move. Getting nothing. We're entering the 2030 season this year. Here are the highest salary cap hits. Tyrus Sparks, 35.2. I noticed there was some talk in the comment section about some Sparks regression, and certainly the ratings are down a bit here. Deep accuracy is 88, short accuracy 93. I still think that we're going to get some very good years out of Tyrus Sparks, but I think we do have to add a playmaker and maybe take some of the difficulty off of him. I'm just looking to see if there's any chance we have to save some money. For the most part, I think I do a pretty good job of signing contracts that I'm not really thinking about getting out of down the road. And as I go through the roster here, I'm not seeing saving opportunities. Maybe Steven Stevens, if it was really that necessary. Like, I want to upgrade over him. I don't think he is quite good enough to be in the same role next year, but I'm probably not going to cut him either. I'm curious about his snap count, by the way. That would be in the general tab. He played 600 snaps, and typically in a year you get around 1,000. So a 60% player, pretty good production, but I think in those really key games, he only played adequate. What I thought was actually odd was that Stevens seemed to be a receiver more likely to catch a 6-yard pass than a 26-yard pass when you look at his ratings and think he's more of a downfield playmaker. We haven't seen that. We've seen a lot more of Ventura as a downfield playmaker, same with Chris Godwin. So just something to keep in mind. But now we have free agency. We got to take care of situations here. Chris Godwin, Ollie Sparks, Malik Lennon. What is the right thing to do here? Right off the bat, I know I'm not going to give a 2-year offer right now to Jacoby Sharp. I'm interested in what he gets, but now we have Damion Burgess, who has superstar dev. He'll get a shot to play. We'll let Marlon Humphrey go to free agency. Same for Leonard Merritt. I have interest in bringing him back. For OJ Howard, 7 a year, can't do it. Malik Lennon, definitely a good tag and trade option. Most of these players, I just don't want to bring them back at their requested salaries is all. Carlos Johnson, I think I can do better than the $1.2 million even. For Godwin, this is less than 12 a year. I think right now I'm most likely to offer to Godwin. I do want to offer to Conrad. He has that high power rush, and I think he'd be good depth. So this is a little over $1 million per season, but it's not enough. We'll let Young go to the free agent market. We'll let Mays go. Same with Artavis Crocker. All right, so there's no avoiding the big three right here. Godwin, Sparks, Lennon. I want to franchise tag Malik Lennon. So we'll tag Lennon. It's $13.3 million and look to trade him somewhere else. For Ollie Sparks, this is for $7 million a year. What I think I want to do, because this is all regression, is I want to go to free agency and make a 2-year offer. I don't want to do a 4. Trying to make smart deals here. I want to make sure we maintain cap space and also are okay if his regression, keeps him from playing at the same level we've seen. So I'll make a 2-year offer. I'm cool. 2 years 15, 2 years 16. I wonder if a lot of teams in real life start to do these kinds of deals, like Melvin Gordon got with the Broncos. Teams don't want big, long-term, high-guaranteed deals, but I think that if you have mostly guaranteed 1 or 2 year deals, that there's a chance to maybe increase the per-year salary on running backs, because that market's been so stagnant. I think that this is one way to maybe give it a chance. So 2 years 15. I know that's not going to work. We'll try again on the open market. And now Chris Godwin, 82 overall, a lot of money. Do we think we can do better? I'm going for it. This is kind of unprecedented for me. I'm going into free agency now with a lot of risk that these players could have markets that exceed what I expect. But I simply don't think that these deals were the right ones. I'm even letting Dallas Bowen go to free agency right now. I will add Lennon to the trade block, but I'm not going to trade him quite yet because I want to see if anything goes wrong in free agency, and maybe there's a specific position I have to work on, and maybe we can find a player-for-player swap that helps in case, like, I can't bring back Godwin or something happens there. But also, he's taking up that $13 million cap space right now, and I can't go over the cap during the offseason, I don't believe. I think the game will prevent me. So I may have to trade him just to create that space. But here we go. Free agency underway. Ollie Sparks. A lot of offers here. I know I'm taking a big risk, but I want to make a 2-year offer that exceeds the point value. For Godwin, no bids. I think if I make a strong enough offer here, I can get this done in 1 round. If you go too low, you're going to have players turn it down, wait for something better, and oftentimes they get an additional team interested. So what I'm thinking here is we try to get 75 to 80 points. I want to convert a lot of this into a guaranteed signing bonus for like, let's see what 10 million roughly does. 9.6. That's 75 right there. I think that's a very competitive bid, but I'll even go further than that. We'll go 10.6, 83 points. Hoping that gets it done. All right, O.J. Howard. 3 teams, and the Panthers are also interested in him. I don't know if I can make that work. I just don't think I can. How do I compete there? 75 catching, 81 speed. He has been a phenomenal player. Outstanding route running, by the way, for tight end. I think that's helped a lot over the years. But I think his Buccaneers tenure might be coming to an end after 13 years. A lot of those in this series. Meanwhile, you have George Kittle, 85 speed, 79 catching, not as good of a route runner, and just a mediocre bid here from Philadelphia. So we return to Ollie Sparks, and I'm trying to make my new running back idea work here. We raise the per year average, we make it highly guaranteed on a shorter term contract. So this is what a 100-point bid would be then. This is close to a $10 million signing bonus. I'll just convert even more of the salary to a bonus. And we'll make it for like 7-8 a year. Maybe a little bit more, just so I have a shot here. That dropped the points. This would tie us. I don't feel good enough about a tie. I need to go a bit further than that. And I know we're getting, pretty high in the per year, but for just 2 years, I can handle it. And I don't want to go much more. We're already going to be thin on cap space. I don't want to go further. It's a very competitive offer. I realize this could be a very costly move. But, like I said, I didn't want to make deals that I thought were bad. Especially for players that were going to be in pure regression years. Just couldn't do it. Going through the roster again, I don't see anybody I want to trade or make any type of move with. I think at corner, we're sticking with these three. They're all in their 20s. Tandy at 78 overall, Bailey at 78. They'll play, they'll develop. I'm not putting a lot of investment into a fourth corner right now. We don't have the space. I'm looking at Dennis Lewis as a replacement starter, perhaps at strong safety. We also have Jaron St. Clair. 3 safeties I think I'm fairly comfortable with. St. Clair's a good run defense safety also. On offense, I have to bring in a backup quarterback. I know that if we can't get Ollie Sparks back, running back's an issue. Got to get a playmaker. And I just don't have the cap space to do any of this stuff, really. The salary cap right now is $231 million. And now that the other contracts are off the books entirely, here's where all our investment is. Quarterback, end, tackle, corner, another defensive lineman, Lennon for now, Coakley, Page, Caver, Bradley. If you wanted to get extreme here in terms of moves, you could create space by trading Jerome Page and saying that we have enough talent at corner, enough talent in the front four, and enough talent at linebacker to make it work without a star safety. I've made 2 bids for Sparks and Godwin. I kinda just want to make these 2 offers and then adapt based on what happens here. So this could be a very big turning point in the series. I don't normally go this risky in free agency, but I think it would have been just as risky to give those big contracts and to deal with that risk a year or 2 down the line. Although Godwin's would have been a 2-year deal. But here it is, everybody, the moment of truth. What do we have? Is it good news or bad? Rejected by Ollie Sparks. And accepted by Chris Godwin. So it is only a 1-year experiment with Ollie Sparks, and it was a great season. But I believe now he'll be headed to the Carolina Panthers. Yep, they ended up topping our offer. They went 105. It is $30 million over 4 years. Only 10.8 of it is guaranteed. Maybe I would have been better off going long term and maybe releasing him if things weren't good later on. With $10 million or 11, the dead money at the end probably wouldn't be too extreme. At $30 million over 4 years, he still gets $7.5 a year. Our offer was better per year, with a lot of it guaranteed, but he gets the 4 years instead. If I couldn't bring him back, I wanted to maybe sign Christian McCaffrey, but he's obviously been signed. O.J. Howard, by the way, got the 2 years, 13.6 to go to Oakland. That means the last remaining, longest tenured Buccaneer, the only original player on the team is Chris Godwin. He is the last one. Jacoby Sharp got a big deal. That's over $8 million a season. Dwayne McClain was available again? I had no idea. I know he played well last year, and now he's with Pittsburgh. He got the 3 years. He had a 1,000-yard campaign with 8 touchdowns. That is pretty outstanding for Dwayne McClain. Where are the ratings at after a season like that? Star development, 91 speed, okay routes. Maybe I was wrong to pick Steven Stevens over him. Hard to argue against the 1,000-yard season like that. I wonder how many snaps that was on, because Stevens played about 600. McClain, he played even less. Uh-oh. Now, getting rejected by Sparks means we do have more money to offer to free agents. Looks like Leonard Merritt's going to get the $5 million he's looking for. If we don't sign him, our defensive tackle 2 is William Devoe. I'm going to make a 1-year offer here to Lindsley. One thing I don't want to risk is sometimes when veterans are free agents, they disappear from the free agent pool, and I don't necessarily know why. But I don't want him to not be signed and then disappear and not be in our league anymore. He's a good backup quarterback, but 19 points, that ain't going to get it done. As far as running backs go, Joe Henson, Joe Mixon, Corey Kirkendall. Kirkendall gave us some good snaps a couple years ago. We could look to bring him back. For wide receiver, it's going to be hard to get an impactful upgrade right now. Jamichael Wade from UCF, 25 years old, good size, good deep route running. There are some very good ratings here. Maybe worth one season, perhaps. But is he better than Steven Stevens? Oh yeah, tight end. Who's actually under contract? I know we had a lot of tight ends, but I don't know what it looks like right now. Karma Strickland, Floyd Hundley, still under contract. I'm probably going to stick with these two. At least their catching ratings are both exceptional right now. I think I lean toward Hundley as the starter. I am going to make a 1-year offer to Leonard Merritt. I think we could afford to bring him back. I have to remember, too, I'm not going to have Lennon on the roster, so I'm going to have another $13 million cap space. We're going to offer to Solomon Metcalf. I think that he would be one of the best backup offensive linemen available, and would not even be a bad starter either. The fair offer is also extremely low, apparently. We can go 106 just like that. On to the next round now of free agency. Hoping to maybe get some offers now for Malik Lennon. I think this round I want to trade. And wow, we're rejected by Merritt after I top the offer. We do sign Metcalf. We also have 5th-year options here. We have Nathan Parson. I don't think I'm going to pick it up. This year I'll decide if I want to go long-term or not. He was a first-round pick in 2026. And he's been starting here the last couple of years. He's been a solid player. I just wasn't sure what the salary would be. So I think that I'm okay. You know, Kai Howard's there in case something doesn't work out. But I can sign him long-term if I want to this year. I don't want to push it down the road. Right now, D-line depth is definitely important, so I should spend free agency solving that. There are many teams interested in Malik Lennon. I'm trying to find one that has strong safety as a top need, and here's Jacksonville. They do pick pretty high if we want to take an early pick. Denzel Denard, Robert Cush are both on this team. If they would be willing to give up their 2nd round pick, I think that would be a cool deal for us. Nope, that's not going to work. If we threw in like a 4, that might get it done. I spent a handful of minutes looking at trade opportunities, and right now I haven't found any players that I think I can make a good deal for. So I'm still waiting on a team to give me an offer, hopefully before the draft. I'll have to make the trade before the draft, at least to get picks. But I want to see what offers come in first. Corey Kirkendall has a bid. I think that's going to be too much for me. Running back could be really tough this year. Got to build up some depth now along this D line, and we're going to extend an offer to Rashawn Castle, the veteran. And I also want to give an offer to Kyle Spearman, who is a run-stopping defensive tackle. Well, this offseason's been an interesting one so far. I need to find a way to make something happen in the draft, I think. And we're doing it from pick 28. It's been a very tough offseason to make this team better right now. We've talked about playmaker. Now, I don't think I would spend an early round pick on a running back. Running backs tend to need some time to develop here in this game, and I'm not really looking for that. When it comes to wide receiver, We may have to trade up if we want early impact. Richie Andrews, Myron Hammond. Then there are some players that are more overrated at the position. I've still found some receivers I'm interested in. I do have some interest here in Stewart Rice, who is one of the better route runners in this class. Good medium, good short, 4.55. Might be, you know, mid to high 80 speed, hopefully closer to like 88 if possible. Overall, it's not a phenomenal receiver class or anything, which makes me want to try to find a trade opportunity of some kind. There's also Dave Malone, who's maybe the best route runner in the whole class. A little overrated, probably like a 66, 67 overall. Still somebody I have interest in. We'll go through more of the draft class soon. I'm just waiting to see if we get that offer yet for Malik Lennon. We do. Whoa! Rejected by William Lindsley. That means someone gave him an offer. And it may have been for too much. I need to see the free agent option. Oh, it's not here yet. I'll find it in the transaction log. Wow, we're not even keeping William Lindsley. I just wonder if he's going to have a chance to potentially start. This truly feels like the end of an era here. I have no idea where he's at. Whoa, William Lindsley. 3 years, $38 million. He did it. Oh, I'm so happy for William Lindsley. He got paid big. You know we couldn't make that deal. There was no way. Washington has a lot of our former players, by the way. They have 2 running backs. Now William Lindsley. That's 3, which I guess is a lot to me. And Jacoby Sharp. Okay, so now Lindsley is a very high-paid backup. Dwayne Haskins is still the starter, but regressing. Although he should regress lower than Lindsley. So this is a big head-scratching move. But hey, William Lindsley got paid. We've been following his journey in this series for 8 seasons. He's been a phenomenal backup, and now he gets rewarded. Gotta be happy for him. The pride of Kent State got the big deal. For the first time in nearly a decade in this series, we are going to have a new backup quarterback. There's a lot of change happening to this team, and I know I've kind of expedited the process here, but my whole philosophy going into this offseason was not to get into deals I'll regret later on. And at least I could say I haven't done that. We had a couple depth players here, Castle and Spearman, and now we have our trade offers for Malik Lennon, a 25-year-old safety. We could get a 2, 5, and a future 7. That's actually a future 2 from Tennessee. 2030 picks, 2030 picks. Where are they? 4, 5, 7. These are not good offers. And I think the best I'm going to be able to do might be a late 2 for Lennon. There's also the idea of perhaps keeping him on the team. Kind of like this offer here from Cincinnati, a 3, a 4, a 7 gives us more to work with, would give us 10 picks in the draft too. Let's talk about Cincinnati here. Keep in mind, Cincinnati is a good team, and I was actually quite frightened when I noticed that they had 28 million cap space, because we know they're good. They've been in the Super Bowl. They've beat us. They're a very strong team, and they still have cap space, and we could help them out. Let's try to make our own type of deal here. There we go. That works for me. 2 and a 4. It's a late 2 and a 4th round pick. I think it's fair for Malik Lennon. So that gives us some extra draft picks. Wonder if I could have thrown the 7 in there, but I upgraded the 3 to a 2. It all works out. Now, as we formulate a full draft strategy, at least we can go into it knowing we have some cornerstone offensive linemen. We have a star quarterback. We have 2 pass rushers, maybe a 3rd. We have 2 very good corners. We have a star inside linebacker and a star safety. And if that is the core of your team, I think that we have the flexibility to give up our future 1st round pick and to be very aggressive trading up if the right opportunity is there. The only issue is that we're having to move up from 28 if we move up, which means we have to give up quite a bit to make any type of move. So let's go into the draft here and take a look. What could we do? We know we're not moving up for a corner or a D tackle. It's receiver. It's simply wide receiver. Is Richie Andrews worth trading up for? Great route runner, not the fastest, quicker than fast receiver. Decent slot. Is that what this team needs? As far as that talent, I don't think so. I would like someone who can maybe make plays downfield, be a greater all-around threat. Myron Hammond, 4.53, a bit faster, even more agile. Late first rounder, B medium route running, probably wouldn't have to move up for him, and very sure-handed. Dave Malone ran 4.49. He's a great route runner. He might also be an option. We wouldn't have to likely trade up for him. Well, I thought it was worth seeing what the Lions would be interested in, but I don't think we're going to be able to trade for Jalen Slate. A first-round pick's not even close. Looking at the roster now, I'd love to draft a wide receiver. Tight end could be in need. Running back, we have to add somebody. I might be able to upgrade at offensive line over Keenan Hampton. Okay player, low quality starter. Maybe that's one spot we can look at in the draft. Going to defense, I'm not really worried about any starting roles. I shouldn't ignore safety. We do have Dennis Lewis. He's a 4-year player who hasn't really played a lot in his career. So hard to say how he'll hold up in this role, but I don't really know what all I want to attack right now. I think another interior player is possible. Checking out the trade block, Keontae Grant could be available in a trade. I'll have to add a backup quarterback at some point, either in the draft or after. There are enough draft picks that I like to where I won't make the move now. Trey Bharti at running back. I checked the Cowboys roster. Adonis Askew is now set to be the starter. So if we want to acquire a veteran, Bharti might be the best option for us. I don't normally see any high-rated players here available, but Jarius Lemon, 87 overall linebacker, is available in a trade, along with Quantavius Boyette from the Raiders, 82 overall. Superstar, 27 years old. If they don't want him on their team, there's room on ours, I think, as long as the contract isn't outrageous. And taking a look, it's not. 1 year. But how much would it take is all. He's an 82 overall, so it's not going to be easy, and I don't think it's a move we're going to make right now. We only made 4 signings during free agency. Here were the big deals. Myles Garrett to the Patriots. Clayton Lyon gets over $100 million from the Rams. Whoa. Rashard Walls, Joe Delgado, Josh Allen, Derwin James, Ollie Sparks, of course. Yeah, this is not going to be a very popular offseason, I can already tell. I just hope the draft can salvage it. I think my great dilemma right now is, do I think it's worth trading up for a receiver? And I just don't know if I'm comfortable enough doing that. So I think that approach totally shifts the way I want to approach this draft. All right, let's get it going, everybody. 2030 draft now underway. All right, we'll have to see how the first few picks go. Number 1, Jimmy Hickson at corner. Okay, he wasn't going to be a target of ours. Cornerback is not a major target. Richie Andrews, he's already gone. Receiver from Ole Miss. Now, I liked Myron Hammond a bit more. He has a bit more speed to offer. I like his skill set. I'm guessing he goes between 10 and 20. Dave Malone might be my preferred option at wide receiver. But there are other positions we could consider. Maybe even offensive line. Upgrading at left guard is probably one of the easier spots for us to get better this year. Najee Cool from UCF. A lot of good ratings here. He should go very early, though. What's more realistic for us? Leonard Lester, B+ awareness. Okay. Could be a solid pick for us to take. Overall, didn't find a lot of early offensive linemen that I liked at guard, but there were some really good tackles, and I, of course, like to move players around to different positions. Oscar Cotta is off the board. Roland Vick to the Broncos. Malik Beck. We're not even seeing the highest of overalls here in the first few picks. We're already into, like, the yellows, 75 and below, or 74 and below. So I think overall, it's not even that strong of a draft class. But there are some good players here now going as we get out of the top 10, 3 in a row, 76 or better. There goes Myron Hammond at 12, 72 overall wide receiver from Clemson. And now our rivals, Najee Cool off the board. Dave Malone at 15 off the board, 69 overall. Nothing in this offseason is really bouncing my way. I think it's setting up for us to go offensive line in the first round. But that requires more players to fall in the next 12 picks. And I just don't know if that's going to happen with all of these overrated prospects. Right now, I have 5, 6 offensive linemen I like here. Maybe 4 I'd be willing to take in the first round. We're obviously not trading with Atlanta to begin with, so they pick Devon Berry, corner. Randy Shepard off the board, left tackle to Green Bay. All right, don't take linemen, please. 3 in a row, 4 in a row. Of course, the Giants go offensive line. So for top prospects in this range, we have Deshaun Hopkins at left end, Randall Young at running back, who had a really good combine, but did not do that well in the 40. Then there's William Pearson, an early second round projection, but early first in terms of talent. Might be perhaps the best pick for us. Yeah, we're down to 2 players here that I was interested in for our first pick. Leonard Lester at guard, who's very strong, mid-first talent, good awareness and impact block, or William Pearson, who I think would be the better prospect. The really good players are all going early. It's just the way it is right now with how many overrated players there are toward the top. And I don't think moving up is going to be the easiest move for us. More than a 3 to go up 5 spots. A 3 and more. What about the 4 and the 5? No, I might be able to for both 4s. We have 2 second round picks, so I'm willing to make that move if they are, and they're not. I think for a 3 and a 5 I could get it done. Might seem like a lot to give up here, but I want to get a high upside player at least. Oh, the 5 is not enough. Come on, Indy. I'd have to go up 30 more selections for a 4. I'm just going to sim past them. They have to go quarterback, maybe. There are quarterbacks in this class. I didn't scout them. They go quarterback, thankfully. Both 4s won't get us up 4 selections. I'd have to put the 3 in there. I don't really want to. Deshaun Hopkins, Randall Young. Jets want linebacker. Elliott Sheets, perfect player. Take him. Take him. All right, New York, I'm giving you the chance to take Sheets. They go Manny Barton. That works for me, too. The Vikings need offensive line, it looks like. Left guard, right tackle. It would take me at least a 3 and a 5 to move up with Minnesota. This is not fun. Right tackle is in their top 5, though. He's early 2 projection, early 1 talent. I think I just have to make the move at whatever cost now. Oh, come on. We're still talking about a 3 and a 4 to move up 3 spots. Oh, come on. That would at least be fair. Looking at their roster, though, like, would they really go tackle this early? They have Jamison Macklin. All right, we're going to take the chance that they don't. Minnesota, do anything else. Come on! William Pearson off the board. Well, we're on the clock now at 28. What do we even do with it? Who is the highest rated available player? Probably Randall Young, if we just avoid all the players who are at least a little overrated. Late 2 grade here for Ricky Fleming. Randall Young, running back. That would be quite the journey to go through all of this and then just go running back in the first round. With our first round pick, we are going to select Leonard Lester, who at least has a first round grade. He's one of the best guards in our class, and there's a very good chance he's a day 1 starter at the position. He has Hidden Dev! Hidden Dev offensive lineman. Okay, 74 overall, hidden. I can handle that. Very strong. Little low on the run block finesse. 78 awareness. Alright, it's a solid player, though, with our very first pick. Although, overall-wise, he's not better yet than Keenan Hampton, but he's got the dev, and he's only 22. So, in not trading those picks, we better find something to do with them, I think. Getting into the second round, and I do have a player in mind to take. I have 2 picks coming up. The player I want is currently ranked number 36 on the board, and there are at least 2 defensive, players in front of him at his position that were not overrated. So, we'll see if defensive tackles start to go. I don't know why I always keep it a secret. I guess it's just more fun to have you see who I'm selecting after I go through all of it. And there's Casey Sweet off the board. 7 off of our next pick. I had some interest here in Josh Tinker. 4.34 speed, good deep route running, good hands. I don't know though. I just look at like Steven Stevens and it's like, okay, if I draft a player, they have to be better than Stevens. And I just don't think Tinker will be. I think Stevens already, has the edge at the same strengths. So I don't know if it's worth it. We continue on. Keegan Whitworth is off the board. He is not who I wanted, but I think he was the next option. The player that I've been targeting here is defensive tackle Malik Zachary. And I think he could be a starter on the inside. Might be time to move up. Alright, we go past Minnesota again. They do not take who I wanted. They don't take Zachary. The Bills have absolutely no reason to take him. They have Ed Oliver plus a 23-year-old 80 overall D tackle. And they take him anyway! Oh man! I can't stand this game right now. Why? Why would you do that? You could have done something else. This is not my day. There goes Josh Tinker. I couldn't take him anyway. Man, this offseason has not been good. And I think I'm sitting on so much cap space right now to where I could have made more happen. I could have made more aggressive offers in free agency. Like, nothing I'm doing is working here. Giving myself like a D- for this offseason so far. 22 million cap space. Thought it would be a lot tighter, but I kept getting turned down over and over and over again. I was counting on getting somebody besides Godwin. So, do I have a plan for right now? Not really, but I'll find one. Garrett Winter, a little slow here at wide receiver. Dominic Dunn, might be BPA. I don't really need a cornerback, but Buffalo didn't need a defensive tackle, so maybe I could ruin someone else's day. But seriously though, Dunn is too good to pass up. Early run talent. I'm not passing. Dunn, normal dev. That's a little disappointing. But now we have a lot of depth at cornerback. That's pretty cool. 94 speed, 73 man, 74 zone. Dunn is 22 years old. It's a fine addition to our defense. Doesn't really make us a lot better this season. Now at this second round pick, I think one of the best moves I could make is to take a quarterback. But I don't think I want to right now, but I don't know. At this point, I still have 7 picks to make. I might as well just spend my picks. I'm going to take a quarterback that I would like to develop as our backup. Not Stanley Wright, even though he has the highest grade here. But Tavita Banks, B+ mid accuracy, B+ deep, A+ arm. I know Wright has the better grade. They're both 22. I'm taking Tavita Banks right here in the second round. 67 overall. I know it's a bit of a reach. But here is our new backup quarterback. Welcome to the team. 91 throw power. Better downfield than short. We can work on that. 95 injury. This is the most what am I even doing off season I have ever had. I still think we're going to be a pretty good team. It's just you think about getting better in the off season. And I don't think we're really getting better right now. I think we have a good enough team to go ahead and win the division again, perhaps. Not guaranteed. I think Carolina's gotten stronger today. I think the gap is getting tighter in the division. So we'll just have to see. Stanley Wright off the board. I thought the quarterbacks would begin to go. I didn't think we could wait till late 3 and get the quarterback I wanted. And I think we've seen today about how waiting for the right spot for a certain player doesn't work. Not today, at least. Picking from all these players here, we are going to select wide receiver Marcus Durant. Finally adding a wideout. 6'3", 233 at 22 years old. A bit overrated as a prospect, but not a bad prospect at all. Good release, spec catch, catching. Ran 4.53. If he touches 90 speed, that'd be incredible. But I know I'm not going to get that lucky today. Durant's the pick, 65 overall. I'm going to predict 87 speed. It's been that kind of day, not even 88. 91, yes! Here we go. 91 speed at 4.5 something. Okay. A lot of ratings here we don't have to work on, but we do have to work on the route running. Now, we did not keep Carlos Johnson. He actually went back to the Packers. Durant has a similar skill set, where he has decent athleticism and some of these core skills, but just not the route running quite yet. Here we go. Marcus Durant, 4-year contract. I'm excited. Yeah, if I could have done this over again, I think I simply would have made a larger offer to Ollie Sparks. I just didn't know if a 4-year offer would work, what the finances would look like in the future. Obviously, right now we have the cap space, but we have a lot of big deals already on this team, so cap space will get thinner down the road, and not giving the long-term offers at the very beginning of the episode was so that 2 years from now, we are not really stuck with aging veterans, a lot of big money, and nowhere to go. So I guess if we're going to take on some sort of problems, it's going to be in the short term. All right, I think it's time to boost morale a little bit. Can we draft a running back? Very little scouting here at the position. Unprepared. The draft board, meanwhile, has a total of 10 players left, and I have 5 picks left to make. So far, I've taken 3 offensive players and 1 defensive. A lot of defense on this board still. We're going to add some linebacker depth here. Everett Walford from UTSA is a pass coverage linebacker. Catching is in his top 3 at linebacker. How often do you see that? 64 overall, 84 speed. Not a bad backup to have here. Obviously, I let one player go. I forgot his name. I would like to boost our backup pass rush situation as well. And I think what I want to do here is take Russell Clinton. 260 pounds, speed rusher. Be finesse move. He is a 62 overall. And he'll be some depth we try to develop going into the future with this team. 72 strength. I wonder how okay that is. Pretty one-dimensional player, though. Very low block shed, very low power moves. He has 1 move. Thought about trading out of this pick, but I kind of want Kirby Gilbert in that 4.4 speed at safety. Plus awareness in the top 3. Zone coverage in the top 3. Kirby Gilbert. I also wanted Earl Spencer. I guess I can draft 2 safeties. This offseason, one of the pluses is how we're adding depth here. The draft offers a chance to shore up the bottom of your roster with very cheap contracts and very young players. So that's what we're doing. Welcome to the team, Kirby Gilbert. Alright, on the clock again. Let's go Earl Spencer. He has the higher grade. We go safety again. This is a good pick. 93 in true value, 66 overall. A bit more well-rounded right off the bat. Not a bad backup strong safety for us, I'd say. And our last pick of the day. Kind of want to go running back, but I mean a player with a grade in the actual draft, not an undrafted grade. Chuck Williamson. There we go. I got the draft from the board every single pick. There is our draft class this year, everybody, and I know this offseason is going to be one of my least popular ones. I can already tell. I'm interested, though. What do you think I could have done differently? Like, what specific players could I have targeted? Because one thing you always have to remember is you can only make moves with players that are available. You can't just decide, oh, we should have gone for an elite wide receiver. Where were they? They weren't available. A first-round pick was not even halfway for Jalen Slate. None in the draft, none in free agency. So that's a wrap there. And then there's other challenges for other positions. Let's see about these receivers here. Okay, I was not willing to trade up. Was I getting up to 2? Probably not. Richie Andrews, hidden dev. Good route runner. Great route runner off the bat. Not the fastest guy. Low release. High ball carrier vision. Okay hands. Decent receiver. Moving up to 2 would have been extremely expensive. Myron Hammond I thought was a better player. Hidden dev. 88 speed. Decent routes. Nothing is too low here to begin, so he can be an early contributor. I'm fine not trading up in the first round. Najee cool. I mean, I got a hidden dev lineman. I just think that I would have liked to have ended up with William Pearson, but that would have taken 2 picks. Would have had to give up the 3 to move up. Pearson's a great prospect, though. That pass block finesse is off the charts. A lot of hidden dev linemen here. This class is going to bring in a lot of very good players. Brian Clinton as well. There are at least 5 hidden dev linemen. So that's where the value was in this class, and we were a part of it. That's a rare class. Did I make the right choice at receiver, by the way? I decided to forgo the grades and not take Stanley Wright, who would not have been there in our 3rd round. Hidden dev. You're funny, Madden. Gotta lose every move here, I guess. 93 throw power. Good accuracies. Okay. Garrett Winter at hidden dev. He was slow, though. 84 speed. We watch key games. 84 speed matters. 61 deep route running. He'll be star and end up with an okay career. How about the part where I didn't get Malik Zachary? Normal development, thankfully. But probably would have been a day 1 starter on our team. At least a day 1 contributor. Highest overall players, 79 and down. So very few off the charts day 1 high impact starters, I feel. 87 ball carrier vision for Samuel Conrad. Richie Andrews 85, Lynn Page 85. At least before this episode's done, which I think it's going to be a long episode, I get to sign a running back. So we end up here with 15 mil in cap space, which means I could have done a little more in the short term, but the whole idea was not getting into trouble a couple years down the road. In 2032, that was kind of the spot that concerned me with these big deals if I were to give the 4-year deal to Ollie Sparks. But maybe the dead money wouldn't have been a bad deal, or maybe he still would have been a great running back. Hard to say. But I know that when that time comes, we're going to have some big deals already out there, and probably more on the way. Free agents for this year, we have Nathan Parson, Gabe Ventura, Maxwell Butler, we have Steven Stevens, Godwin only signed a 1-year contract, Max Heenan, he should probably get a big deal. So that was the whole idea. Trying to make sure we don't have a bunch of problems down the road with older veterans on big deals. We have made a trade. We have traded Steven Stevens for Trey Bharti of the Dallas Cowboys. So yes, we actually get worse today at wide receiver. Why did I make that trade? Well, for one, I had to go acquire a running back. And here's the running back that we now have, Trey Bharti. Same age as Rafael Mckinley. 24 years old, 79 overall. He has good speed, break tackle's not horrible, elusiveness is 84. I think these two have very similar skill sets, and I'd like to see which one can become the better player. Regardless, we had to have two running backs, at least, and now we do. But ultimately, I thought Bharti would be more valuable to us than Steven Stevens. Stevens is a speedy player. He has okay route running. He doesn't have great catch in traffic or spec catch or anything. And it's not like he was spectacular with us. He was solid, reliable this past year. But now we have a lot more young players at receiver. Oh, by the way, Stevens is 28 and normal dev. So his skills are about to decrease. So in the meantime, that means we have Godwin, we have Ventura, and then we're going to find a lot of information about these young receivers. Kendall Gabriel, Kadeem Clayton, and Marcus Durant. I don't know if we have options here, but they're younger, they got some potential. I want to see them play. At running back, right now we're going to sign power back Kason Smith, who has one of the better blends of speed, break tackle, and vision available. And for some interesting undrafted signings, we're going to bring in Jaleel Blake, who had one of the better release ratings here at receiver, so maybe an option for the practice squad. For a third quarterback, probably on the practice squad, we're going to bring in Lawrence Wheeler, who has this weird low-medium accuracy, but a couple other ratings to work with. We're also going to bring in Kendrick Wakefield from Idaho State, one of the speediest running backs available with an 81 elusive skill. We're going through preseason too. We're not done today. Focus player time. We're going to go with Dennis Lewis, DeJuan Bailey, and Leonard Lester. Now, Bailey's an X factor. He doesn't need all the extra dev, but I want to get him some early, so hopefully he can play this year closer to 80 overall. And then I'll swap him out at some point for somebody else with lower dev. We conclude preseason, and I already saw one thing that happened. Let's go to the injury reports. Rashawn Castle is hurt. Okay, Trey Bharti will miss 1 week. I noticed he got hurt after our very first preseason game, but we should have him when the regular season gets underway. Now for the actual performances. Tyrus Sparks, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, for Tavita Banks. Of course, I think we're all curious. How is William Lindsley doing? 2 picks. Not succeeding here as much with a new team. On the ground, we have a lot of high expectations now for Rafael Mckinley. Can he take that next step this year? 3.2 average in the preseason, not that promising. For receiving, Ventura produced as always. Godwin, solid. Now Kadeem Clayton. What a chance he's being given this season. Thankfully, we get to upgrade him a little bit. We'll save that for later. And for defense, what do we have for pass rush? 4.5 for Rashawn Castle, and he is hurt to start the season, sadly. We'll miss 3 games or so. And for interceptions, 2, Dennis Lewis, Earl Spencer. Our season starts against our division rivals, but I think it's that week 2 game that we may want to watch first this year. Especially with Ollie Sparks now in Carolina. They're trying to build an offense around Preston Callaway. They helped him out with the addition of Sparks. That should be a big move for them. They're still kind of thin here at wide receiver. Jermichael Alexander has regressed quite a bit. I don't know. What do you want to see when this season kicks off? Now, taking a look at free agency after we got to week 1, there is one surprise cut here, Malik Emanuel, who's only 23 years old. And he certainly has talent. We're going to bring him here. That's a good move for us. We're also going to sign Lincoln Kerr for one of our last roster spots. He has decent zone coverage at least. And the final move we'll make today, the last of the offseason, is going to be to sign Stewart Mcdonald for edge rush depth. And with that, the week 1 roster is now ready to go. I have no clue what to expect for this year. I know we still have a lot of good players on this team, but we did not make meaningful upgrades this offseason. We got a lot of young players now with opportunity to play. We're going to see Damion Burgess at edge rusher and what he can do. We're going to see William Devoe as a pass rusher and Kyle Spearman as a run stopper. We'll see Castle, though, as soon as he's healthy again. Dennis Lewis starts at strong safety. We're still going to see Gabe Ventura play a lot. Kendall Gabriel, Rafael McKinley, Floyd Hundley at tackle, a rookie left guard. Who knows what's going to happen this year? But I know this offseason is not going to be a very popular one. I did my best to try to make some moves while not, adding risk to the future with this roster. And I guess I just want to get to the games here and see how this season goes for us. But it could be one of the tougher ones unless we have a couple breakout players. And I think with this team that is certainly possible. We have a lot of top-end talent. We just need some of these young players to develop well. And with that, everybody, that's it for today. Episode 90 in the books. Let me know what you thought down below in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see where this team is very shortly. Have a great day, everybody. I'll be back soon.